Chicago greeted me with a damp wind and drizzling rain. Another IT conference, another faceless hotel. I was actually glad for the business trip. Lately, Emily and I had been arguing frequently, and a short break in our relationship seemed like a good idea. The hotel bar was sparsely populated. I settled at the counter, ordered whiskey, and opened my laptop, wanting to review my presentation before tomorrow's speech. Tom, it can't be. I would recognize that voice anywhere. Elizabeth, my mother-in-law, Emily's mother. I turned slowly. Elizabeth, what are you doing here? She looked stunning. Her business suit accentuated her slender figure, her hair gathered in an elegant bun. At 50, she could give many 30-year-olds a run for their money. Legal conference, she sat next to me. Representing our firm and you? IT conference, speaking tomorrow. What a coincidence, she smiled. Buy your mother-in-law a martini? I called the bartender. Strange, but I had never been alone with her before. There had always been Emily, her father, other relatives. How's Emily? She asked, stirring the olive in her glass. Fine, working a lot. Just like me. I always gave myself completely to work too. Maybe that's why I got divorced. I had never heard her talk about the divorce. The martini must have loosened her tongue. Emily never told me the details. What's there to tell? Classic story, husband found someone younger, more lively. Got tired of his workaholic wife. She ordered another martini. Sorry, didn't mean to burden you with my problems. It's fine, I could use someone to talk to myself. Problems with Emily? I nodded. Lately it feels like we're drifting apart. Sounds familiar, she gave a bitter laugh. History repeats itself. We talked for hours, about work, life, disappointments. The glasses emptied one after another. At some point, I caught myself admiring her profile. It's late, she looked at her watch. I should head up. I'll walk you. We were silent in the elevator. She stood so close I could smell her perfume. My floor, she said when the doors opened. Good night, Tom. Good night, Elizabeth. The doors started closing, but she suddenly held them. Maybe one more drink. I have a mini bar in my room. I knew I should refuse, that I should return to my room, that I'd had enough to drink. Sure, I heard my voice say. Why not? Elizabeth's room was bigger than mine. She was a law firm partner, after all. She turned on the dimmed lights and went to the minibar. Whiskey or something else? Whiskey. My voice sounded hoarse. She handed me the glass. Our fingers touched. A shiver ran through my body. Shall we sit? She gestured toward the couch. We sat and talked about trivia, work, anything to fill the silence. But with each minute, the tension grew. She set her glass aside, I always thought you were a good husband for Emily. And now? And now, she looked into my eyes, now I don't know what to think. Her hand rested on my knee. Such an innocent gesture, but it held so much unspoken meaning. Elizabeth, shh. She put a finger to my lips. No words, they'll ruin everything. Time stopped. Outside, the night city hummed, cars honked in the distance, but here in the room, there were only the two of us. What happened next was like a trance. Touches, whispers, passion, everything merged into some mad kaleidoscope. Her skin smelled incredibly good, her hair spread across the pillow. I woke up to the sound of the TV turning on. Elizabeth sat in an armchair, already dressed and groomed. On the screen, a news anchor was giving the weather forecast. Good morning, she said without looking at me. Good morning. A heavy silence fell. Listen, she finally turned to me. What happened? Shouldn't have happened? Yes, and won't happen again. Agreed. We just drank too much. We're lonely. It means nothing. Of course. And no one will ever know. I nodded, gathering my clothes. I'll go. Yes, you should. You have a presentation in 2 hours. At the door, she called out to me. Tom. Yes? This was a mistake, but she fell silent. But nothing. Good luck with your presentation. In my room, I stood under the shower for a long time, trying to wash away the scent of her perfume. My phone showed 3 missed calls from Emily. Hi, honey. How's the conference? Her voice was so familiar, so normal. Fine. Preparing for my presentation. Good luck. Love you. Love you too. After hanging up, I looked at myself in the mirror. The same person as yesterday, or someone different? We didn't cross paths at the conference. In the evening, I flew home. She stayed for another day. That's it, I thought, looking out the airplane window. It happened and it's over. Now I can forget. How wrong I was. Mom's inviting us for Sunday dinner, Emily said a week after my return. We haven't seen her in a while. My heart sank. Maybe we should decline. I have a project. Oh, come on. What project on Sunday? Elizabeth's house, large, modern like herself. When we arrived, there were already several cars at the entrance. Oh, the whole family's here. Emily was delighted to see her brother's car. Elizabeth opened the door. Flawless makeup, elegant dress. Sweetie, she hugged her daughter, then turned to me. Tom. Just Tom. Not hi, not how are you? And her gaze passed me, through me. The table was noisy. Emily's brother with his wife, their children, some family friends. How was the conference, Mom? Emily asked. I choked on my wine. Productive. Elizabeth didn't even blink. Many useful contacts. And you, honey? Did your presentation go well? Yes, everything went fine. Interesting, Elizabeth suddenly said. You were both in Chicago and didn't even meet. I dropped my fork. You didn't run into each other? Emily was surprised. No, unfortunately, Elizabeth smiled. Different hotels, different conferences. She lied so naturally that I almost believed it. Maybe that night never happened? After dinner, everyone scattered around the house. I went out to the terrace, needed some fresh air. Holding up well, Elizabeth appeared silently like a cat. Learning from the best. Is that a compliment? Not sure. She stood next to me, leaning on the railing. We need to act natural. Natural after we... Quiet! She looked back at the house. No one should know. I know, but how can you be so calm? Years of legal practice. She gave a bitter smile. You learn to hide emotions. At that moment, Emily came out to the terrace. Here you are. What are you whispering about? I was asking your mom for work advice. The words just rolled off my tongue. Work again! Emily rolled her eyes. Mom, is he bothering you with that now too? It's fine, dear. Happy to help. Family. At the word family, our eyes met, and I saw in her gaze what she was trying so hard to hide, the same storm of emotions that was raging inside me. We drove home in silence. Emily dozed off in the passenger seat. My phone vibrated quietly. Message from Elizabeth. We need to talk. Tomorrow, alone. I deleted the message, but we both knew this wasn't over yet. We met in a small cafe on the other side of town. Elizabeth chose a table in the far corner. I can't stop thinking about that night, she said, instead of greeting. We agreed to forget. And how's that working out? I remained silent. She covered my hand with hers. Tom, I've never felt anything like this, not even with Emily's father. Don't, I pulled my hand away. We can't. I know, but that doesn't make the desire any weaker. The waitress brought coffee. We sat staring into our cups, afraid to look at each other. What should we do? I finally asked. What we must, stay away from each other. But fate seemed to mock us. A week later, Emily asked me to drop off some documents to her mother. She's working from home now, my wife said, and ask for that pie recipe while you're there. Elizabeth opened the door in a house dress. I swallowed. Documents from Emily. I held out the folder. Want to come in? Better not. Just coffee, Tom, and daylight in the kitchen, nothing more. I knew I was making a mistake, but I went in. In the kitchen, she made coffee while I watched her move, graceful like a dancer. Emily asked for the pie recipe. Of course, she reached for a notebook on the top shelf. The dress rode up, revealing her legs. I should go. I stood up so quickly I knocked over the cup. Careful, it's hot. She rushed to wipe the stain on my shirt. Too close, too intimate. Elizabeth, don't speak, she whispered. Our lips were an inch apart. One kiss and there's no way back. The phone ring shattered the moment. Emily. Honey, did you get the recipe? Yes, I'm on my way. Everything okay? Your voice sounds strange. Everything's fine, just spilled hot coffee. Oh, did Mom give you her special coffee? She always makes it scalding. If only you knew how right you are, I thought. Go, Elizabeth said quietly, before we do something stupid. I practically ran from the house. My heart was pounding like crazy. In the evening, a message came. Sorry, this won't happen again. I replied, agreed. We need to stay away from each other. Yes, for Emily's sake. But we both knew it wasn't just about Emily. It was about the electricity that sparked between us every time we were near each other. And Emily's birthday was coming up and we couldn't not come, both of us. They decided to celebrate Emily's birthday at a restaurant. Elizabeth came with a man, James, a lawyer from her firm. I'm glad Mom started dating, Emily whispered to me. She was so lonely after the divorce. I nodded, trying not to watch James put his hand on Elizabeth's shoulder. At the table, she sat across from me. Our knees accidentally touched. We both flinched. Tom, you seem jumpy, Emily noticed. Is everything all right? Yes, just a bit of a headache. Take an aspirin. Mom always carries some. Of course, Elizabeth rummaged in her purse. Tom, come with me. It's in the car. At the car, she handed me a pill. Here, does your head really hurt? No, I just can't stand seeing you with him. What did you expect? That I'd forever stay faithful to one night? No, but... Tom, stop. You have a wife, my daughter. We agreed to forget. And you're doing well with that? She looked at me for a long moment. No, not at all. At that moment, James approached the car. Elizabeth, everything okay? Yes, just giving my son-in-law some aspirin. Caring mother-in-law, he smiled. Shall we go? Emily's cutting the cake. Over cake, Emily made a toast. Thank you all for coming. Especially, Mom, you always support me, and Tom, the best husband in the world. I caught Elizabeth's glance. There was pain in it. After the restaurant, everyone went to our house to continue the celebration. Mom, stay, Emily pleaded. James, you too. The living room was noisy, music playing. I went out to the balcony for air. A minute later, the door creaked. Elizabeth. Don't, I said without turning around. I just came to smoke. You don't smoke. I started after Chicago. We stood side by side looking at the night city. He's a good man, she said. James, happy for you. Tom. What? I don't feel even a tenth with him of what. Don't! I turned to her sharply. Please! Our faces were so close. Mom, Tom! Emily's voice from the room. Where are you? Here, honey! Elizabeth called out and whispered to me. Tomorrow, my house. We need to settle everything. I nodded. We both knew it couldn't continue like this anymore. I came to Elizabeth's after work. She opened the door in a formal suit, apparently just back from the office. Come in, she said. We need to talk. In the living room, we sat at opposite ends of the couch, as if afraid to touch each other. I broke up with James, she began. Why? You know why. It's not fair to use someone when you're thinking of another. And now what? What do you suggest? Leave everything and run away? Destroy Emily's life? No, of course not. Then what? Keep meeting in secret? Lie to everyone? I was silent. She went to the window. You know what's worst? I don't regret that night, even now. Neither do I. And what are we supposed to do with that? At that moment, we heard the sound of a door opening. We froze. Mom, are you home? Emily, God, not this. In the living room, honey! Elizabeth's voice didn't even quiver. Emily walked in and stopped in surprise. Tom, what are you doing here? I began. Tom's helping me with the computer, Elizabeth interrupted. You know I'm hopeless with these things. Why didn't you tell me? It was supposed to be a surprise. Elizabeth saved the situation again. I wanted to learn to use video calls to talk to you more often. Oh, Mom, Emily beamed. That's so sweet. She hugged her mother, then me. I have the best family in the world. I met Elizabeth's gaze over Emily's shoulder. There were tears in her eyes. Will you stay for dinner? Emily asked. No, we said simultaneously. I have another meeting, I added, and I'm not feeling well. Oh, okay. Emily was clearly disappointed. Then Sunday? Family dinner? Of course, honey. Elizabeth kissed her daughter's cheek. Already at the door, I received a message. Goodbye, it's better for everyone this way. A week later, Elizabeth announced she was moving to Seattle. She'd been offered a senior partner position at a major firm. That's so far, Emily cried. Sweetie, it's a great opportunity. Besides, I've learned to use video calls. She winked at her daughter. At the farewell dinner, she avoided looking at me. Only before leaving, she whispered, Take care of her. She deserves to be happy. We never saw each other again. Sometimes I see her on the computer screen when Emily talks to her mother via video call. Her hair is cut short now, her eyes peaceful. Mom has changed so much, Emily says. Seems like Seattle's been good for her. I nod and leave the room, because some memories are better left in the past, even if they haunt you every night. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.